Hey, welcome to Eat, Baila, Travel, a channel for foodies, salseros y aventureros. My name is Jenny. Kevin today is behind the camera, and today we'd like to share our experience and our tips for getting your Mexican citizenship. I won't say it was a very easy experience because we had some challenges in getting the documents, and I remember from our research experience how difficult it was to get it all together. So we thought it might be helpful to share this experience with you all as you're getting ready. So both Kevin and I are born in Chicago, raised in Chicago, but raised by Mexican immigrants who raised us with Mexican culture and ideals, and so we thought, what a better way to honor our culture than to feel like we belong to both. We know that documentation isn't everything in this world, but if you can have something that validates who you are, that's kind of where we come from, and one of the many reasons that we decided to get our Mexican citizenship. Because there's so much to know about the process, we've decided to break this video up into 3 parts. This is part 1, welcome, where we'll be discussing how to prepare your documents for your appointment. Part 2 will give step-by-step instructions on how to make the appointment, because you've got to make the right one, and navigating Mexican government websites are the worst. Part 3 is the actual appointment itself, what to expect day of, and what it's gonna look like, how to get ready and be ready for that day. Having dual citizenship with the US and Mexico has some really great benefits, which we'll tell you at the end of this video, so stay tuned with us, and for now, let's jump straight to work. The process of getting a Mexican citizenship is known as a Registro Civil. The Registro Civil is essentially the process of registering yourself as a foreign-born Mexican. So we recommend before you even make the appointment, make sure you've got all your documents together. The first thing you're gonna need is the application itself, which you can download directly from a link that we've provided in the description below. That application actually has all the instructions for the process right in there, but if you're more of a visual learner, stick around with us so we can help explain the process and give you some tips from our experience. Number 2, you'll need 2 copies of your original birth certificate, and not just any copies. You need to provide the long version. How to know whether you have the long version or the short version? The long version is going to include the time that you were born, whereas the short version usually doesn't. Number 3, you'll need a valid identification with 2 letter-size photocopies. These identifications can include a driver's license, a state ID, or a passport, as long as it's got your picture and your name. And then here's the very important part. You want to make sure that all of your documents match up exactly, regardless of the ones you choose to take with you. If your birth certificate says Kevin John Doe and your driver's license just says Kevin Doe, that's not going to match up and they won't accept that. And number 4, you'll need both your parents' original or certified birth certificates along with 2 letter-size photocopies of each. You only really need one parent to have Mexican citizenship, but if both have them, great. You'll still need both their informations. We get this question a lot. What if only one parent was a Mexican citizen, one parent is fine? You'll still need to bring information on both parents. If one or both parents are deceased, you'll need to bring a death certificate along with their birth certificate. Number 5, you'll need a valid identification for each parent. This can include a state ID, a driver's license, a passport, or some sort of Mexican ID. For Mexican ID, they can use their Mexican passport, their voting credential, or their matricula consular. Again, all the names must match or else they won't take it. Kevin had an issue where his father's birth certificate had an extra initial that was not existent on his current IDs, so they would not accept that as the same person. It took Kevin years to correct his father's Mexican birth certificate. There was an error that no one ever really paid attention to, and unfortunately that's really common with Mexican birth certificates. There are errors all the time, so you'll definitely want to make sure and go through whatever steps you need to get documents corrected. We tried to get it corrected in the States, but because it was a Mexican birth certificate, we had to have it corrected in Mexico. So that was a challenge, but eventually it got done and it was totally worth it. Number 6, you'll need a marriage certificate only if your parents were married 6 months before you were born. If they were married after that point, then you will need to have your father present for your Mexican registration. If your father cannot attend for whatever reason, he will need to obtain a poder especial or a special power of attorney from a notary public in Mexico or issued by a Consulate of Mexico. Why is this necessary? Well, the consulate requires parental permission from your father's side to register you as a Mexican with the Mexican government. If your father wasn't born in Mexico but your mother was, then your mother must attend the appointment with you or give you that power of attorney. Number 7, this is not a document, but these are people. You'll need to ask 2 witnesses to attend with you the day of your appointment. These witnesses do not have to be US citizens, but they do need to have some sort of valid ID and be over the age of 18. If you're unable to take witnesses with you, the consulate will help you get 2 volunteers. And once you have all your paperwork lined up, you're ready to go make your appointment for Registro Civil. I threw in a few tips as I was giving you the application requirements, but there are a few that I want to emphasize and a few additional ones from our experience that we want to share with you. First, we recommend getting a really good folder to keep all your documents together where they won't slip out. We like the ones that open up and clip open. Sticky notes are our best friends, so if there's anything missing or a change that needs to be made, we write it on the sticky note and stick it on the document or on the front of the folder. Our second tip is something that we recommend everyone do and something we regret not doing. If you have a consulate close to you, it's worth taking the trip to have them proof your documents before your appointment. You don't need an appointment with them to ask to review your documents. You can just walk in and ask for the Registro Civil desk. Just let them know you want someone to review your documents ahead of time for your appointment. They will review it for you, but they won't do the process for you without the appointment. So again, it's really worth just getting them to review it and have them tell you, yes, everything looks good, or no, this is what you need to fix. Trust me, this is a tip worth taking the time to take advantage of. Sometimes we think that we have everything in order and everything looks right, but once you take it to them, it's worth having them proofread it so they can tell you what's wrong. We had an experience where we both showed up to our appointments separately. We had to take time off work to do this, and there's no worse feeling than walking in ready and excited and then being sent home without your Mexican citizenship. Remember, the American government and the Mexican government systems are very, very different, and we learned a lot about how these systems work through this experience. So just be aware that there might be some challenges you'll face. Other people are luckier and everything looks great and they get it easy peasy. But for some of us who have errors in our documents, it's just a few extra steps to take, but I promise you it is totally worth it. Now, here are some of those benefits that we talked about and why we keep saying it's so worth it. First and foremost, it makes it easy to travel between the US and Mexico. When you're flying between countries, you can present both passports and enter Mexico with your Mexican passport and enter the United States with your United States passport. They might ask you for both just to make sure they know how you came in or how you're exiting the country, but I haven't had any issues whatsoever, and I have 2 completely different names on my passports. I have my married name and my birth name with both my parents' last names. Number 2, you can buy land, vote, or live in Mexico without any restrictions as a foreigner or a tourist. And for people who are wanting to reconnect with their roots, we are in Mexico and we don't have to worry about going back to the US and doing a whole nother process to become a citizen as a foreigner. I think foreigners have it much harder. And last but definitely not least, one of our favorite perks of having 2 passports is the perks for travel. There are certain countries that will require tourist visas for Americans, such as formerly Brazil used to require a visa for Americans, but not for Mexicans. Even though that's no longer the case, there are lots of countries that will have different requirements for Americans versus Mexicans, and you can just, use whichever one is convenient for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you, but if you have any questions, please let us know down below. Don't forget to check out the next video in the series so that you can see exactly how to make the appointment and then how to get ready for the big day. Ahora sí, se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos hasta la próxima. Chao.